It was a special weekend as the Lady Buffs took on Cameron University at Schaefer Park. The Buffs had a lot more to play for than usual this weekend, as it was Military Appreciation Weekend and the stadiums were filled with American flags as we honored those who have served our country. Let's jump right into it now with some action. Kylie Halbert is going to take the mound for the Lady Buffs in Game 1. She's looking for her 16th win on the season and add to her all-time career wins. Cameron right here is going to knock one into the right field as they jump to a 1-0 lead. But the Lady Buffs are going to fight back, and they got a 2-run RBI single from Allie Smith in the 5th inning and finished strong as they would put up a total of 9 runs in the final 4 innings to win Game 1 9-2. We're moving on to Game 2 now. Senior Ashley Harden is going to start the game off with this absolute bomb to left field. She's going to touch all 4 bases for the 74th time in her career and give the Lady Buffs a 1-0 lead. This would be Harden's 20th home run on the year and the 3rd overall on the weekend as the Lady Buffs greet her at home plate, which I'm sure won't be the last time this season. The Lady Buffs would go on to win Game 2 9-6 and Game 3 3-1 to sweep the weekend series. Senior Ashley Harden crushed 4 home runs this weekend, along with 7 RBIs to get the Lone Star Conference of the Week honors. She also became the all-time record holder in RBIs in Lone Star Conference history. Up next for the Lady Buffs is a 3-game weekend series in Kingsville against Texas A&M Kingsville. The Buffs look to extend their school record 9-game winning streak as they face Cameron in a 4-game weekend series. Christian Loya would start the game off with a bomb to left field as the Buffs lead 1-0. Tommy Williams, as you see here, puts one up the middle to get 2 on for Justice Nakagawa. On a full count, Nakagawa would send this one over the fence to give the Buffs a 4-0 lead. Cameron would put up 3 of their own in the top of the 3rd, but the Buffs were too strong as a 5-run 5th inning proved to be the difference as they won Game 1 10-5. In Game 2, Cameron put up 2 runs in the 1st inning, but they did not faze the Buffs as they scored 12 unanswered to take Game 2 12-2. Game 3 was all Buffs from the beginning as they put up 4 runs in the 1st inning and added 5 more runs to win Game 3. We are looking at Game 4 now as Luis Amaro would absolutely crush a home run to right center as he's going to touch all the bags for the 10th time this season. Amaro would have 3 hits in the game and score 3 times. The Buffs could not be tamed as they would put up 7 in the 4th inning and added a few more on to take Game 4 12-2, which gave the Buffs a weekend sweep. Bodie Bryan's huge weekend at the plate, which included 9 hits, which 2 of them coming via the home run ball and 9 RBIs to give him the Lone Star Conference Player of the Week honors. The Buffs extend their school record 13-game winning streak, and up next for the Buffs is a 4-game weekend series in Stephenville against Tarleton State. That's all for sports this week. I'm Ben Stedman. Back to you guys. The Lady Buffs equestrian team has been winning all year long. In fact, they've won 5 times this year alone, and in competition have brought home 13 ribbons. They only have 1 meet left this semester, the IHSA National Championship, May 2nd in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Track and field is in full swing as both the Buffs and Lady Buffs are closing their seasons for the semester. The Lady Buffs are currently ranked number 1 in the nation for Division II, and the Buffs are ranked 10th. In their last meet in Hobbs, New Mexico, the Lady Buffs claimed a pair of event titles, highlighted by Fatima Fessi, as she set a new top mark in the country for triple jump. Both teams have 3 meets left before the Lone Star Conference Outdoor Championships in San Angelo, which will hopefully lead them to the National Collegiate Athletic Association's Outdoor Championship in Charlotte, North Carolina this May. Both Lady Buff and Buff Golf have been competing all year long in preparation for the Lone Star Conference Championship April 23rd and 24th. The Buffs' best finish this year was 2nd at the Ryan Palmer Foundation Invitational. They're now looking to win the LSC Championship and prepare for the NCAA National Championship in Florence, Alabama, May 21st through 25th. The Lady Buffs have 2 wins for the season, the most recent being at WT Desert Invitational. Their NCAA National Championships will be held in Houston, May 16th through the 19th. After the break, we will look at how Lady Buff softball and Buff baseball are closing their seasons and how both teams are setting the historic mark here in Canyon. Stay tuned to WT-TV News 1. WT Athletics has had one of the best overall seasons we have seen in school history. All the teams are putting up historical numbers. Let's jump right into it with some Buff baseball. The Buffs baseball team looked to open up conference play against the Greyhounds of Eastern New Mexico Friday night at Wilder Park. The series took Game 1 8-5 and looked to continue their success on Saturday in their doubleheader. The Bats were hot as they won Game 1 of the doubleheader 13-1 and squeaked out a 4-3 win in Game 2. On Sunday, the Buffs put up a season-high 21 runs to complete the weekend sweep. The Buffs continue conference play on Thursday as they travel to Odessa, Texas for a 4-game series against the Falcons of UT Permian Basin. On the other side of the diamond, the Lady Buff softball team was on the road in Wichita Falls, Texas to take on Midwestern State. Friday night, the Lady Buff started their 3-game series and got out to a hot start, winning Game 1 12-6. Saturday was the same story as the Lady Buffs put up 17 runs in a shutout by Shani Starkey. The Mustangs tried to put up a fight on Sunday to avoid the sweep, but the Lady Buffs were too much as they won 5-1 to complete a weekend sweep. From the diamond to the court, the Lady Buffs basketball team found themselves as the number 2 seed in the South Central Regionals and traveled down to Lubbock, Texas. They first took on Arkansas Fort Smith and they took care of business 81-66. In the semifinals, they took on Metro State as they led almost the entire game as they won 70-60 to reach the finals for the second straight year. The Lady Buffs took on number 1 seeded Lubbock Christian. They found themselves trailing at halftime by 7 but came out strong in the second half. They had a chance to tie the game at the buzzer but fell just short 56-53. Moving to the men's side, we saw the best team in program history. The Buffs won their regional here in Canyon and moved on to the Elite 8 for the first time since 1998. They traveled to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They took on the number 5 seed Lemoyne College. The Buffs trailed at halftime, but a big second half led them to an 87-73 win and their first trip to the Final Four in program history. They took on the number 1 seed Ferris State. The Buffs trailed 41-35 at halftime and trailed as much as 17 in the second half, but the Buffs were able to mount a comeback, but they came up just short as they lost 85-79, led by David Chalovich's 33 points. That's your News 1 Sports Update. I'm Ben Stedman. Back to you at the desk.